Have you ever paused to consider that the specific day you were born, yes, that exact number on the calendar, might hold deep symbolic meaning? At first glance, it sounds like something out of astrology or superstition, but from a Jungian perspective, your day of birth is far from arbitrary. Carl Jung, one of the most profound thinkers in psychology, believed that time itself is saturated with symbolism, and that includes not just the month, but the precise day you entered this world. Jung proposed that our lives unfold in harmony, with patterns, what he called archetypes, universal images and forces that repeat across cultures, dreams, myths, and nature. He believed that these archetypes don't just live outside us, but within us. And the moment you were born, the specific day, marks a symbolic entry point into the world, full of archetypal energy that begins shaping your inner world from the very start. Let's imagine for a moment that your birthday, be it the 3rd, the 17th, or the 28th, serves as a symbolic window into the psychological tone you carry. It's not about your zodiac sign, nor is it a matter of destiny. It's about rhythm, archetypal rhythm, the subtle energetic blueprint that was active on the very day you took your first breath. Maybe you felt this without having the words for it. Maybe the number associated with your birth has followed you, echoed in your preferences, patterns, and the way you engage with the world. Jung might say, that's not coincidence, that's symbolic resonance. Time, Jung once noted, is not linear for the soul. It is cyclical, it repeats, it teaches. So what if your day of birth is not just a date, but a psychological clue? What if it's part of the larger story of your individuation, your journey to become who you truly are? In this exploration, we're going to apply Jung's symbolic lens to the days of the month. While months carry seasonal archetypes, each day becomes a micro-pattern within the cycle, a unique pulse, a distinct voice in the chorus of time. And just like the archetypes of the hero, the sage, the seeker, or the reformer, each day may reflect a hidden strength, a lesson, or a shadow that's quietly shaped your story. But before we begin, if you resonate with ideas that go beneath the surface, if you believe that who you are can be better understood through symbols, cycles, and self-awareness, then consider joining us. Our channel is dedicated to exploring the deeper layers of life through psychology, philosophy, and the timeless wisdom of the human spirit. Now take a moment. Breathe in, because once you see your birthday as more than a number, you may start to understand why certain patterns keep repeating in your life. Not to trap you, but to guide you. This is not about categorizing people. It's about illumination, recognizing that even the most overlooked details of our story, the calendar day we were born, can hold the blueprint of an archetype waiting to be understood. So now that we've opened the door to the idea that your birthday might carry symbolic weight, let's walk through it. In this part of the journey, we'll explore the psychological tone and archetypal energy associated with each of the first 10 days of the month, according to a Jungian lens. Each number doesn't just mark a point on the calendar. It pulses with ancient meaning, echoes of symbols that have shown up across history, myth, and the human psyche. Numbers in Jung's symbolic language are not neutral. They are containers of archetypal essence. And when we look at the day of our birth, through this lens, we begin to see something remarkable, patterns we've always lived with, but never fully understood. Let's begin. Day 1, the archetype of the initiator. If you were born on the 1st, you may embody the archetype of the initiator, the one who begins things, who carves new paths through untouched terrain. This number is the beginning, the spark, the moment when nothing becomes something. People born on this day often carry a strong sense of individuality. There's an inner fire in them, even if it's quiet, a drive to define themselves on their own terms. They may be naturally assertive, pioneering, or fiercely independent. They often seek autonomy and resist control. They're the ones who start the fire, but they can sometimes struggle to maintain it if they don't feel deeply aligned with the flame. Their journey is one of self-leadership. They must learn how to balance independence with connection and action with awareness. The danger lies in isolation or in taking on too much alone. But when integrated, Day 1 individuals become courageous examples of authentic initiation. Day 2, the archetype of the peacemaker. Those born on the 2nd often reflect the energy of the peacemaker, an archetype rooted in duality, empathy, and connection. 2 is the number of partnership, of reflection of the other. It symbolizes balance, harmony, and emotional intelligence. People born on this day tend to be deeply sensitive, aware of others' needs, and driven by a desire to maintain unity. Their gift is relational intelligence. They sense disharmony and naturally try to soothe it. But the shadow side of this archetype is self-abandonment. In their quest to keep the peace, they may suppress their own truth. The journey for Day 2 individuals is about learning to honor both sides of a relationship, their own needs and the needs of others. When aligned, they become graceful harmonizers who heal through presence and compassion. Day 3, the archetype of the creative messenger. The number 3 is symbolic of expression, creativity, and communication. People born on the 3rd often carry the archetype of the creative messenger. This is the archetype that blends emotion with articulation. It sings, paints, writes, and dances what others feel but can't express. These individuals often have vivid inner worlds and a magnetic charm. They thrive when they're creating, performing, or connecting ideas through language. They may feel pulled to storytelling, public speaking, the arts, or simply lighting up a room with their energy. But the shadow of the 3 is scattered energy. They may struggle with focus, consistency, or a fear of deeper silence. Their growth lies in anchoring their creativity and purpose. When balanced, Day 3 individuals become powerful channels for insight and beauty, translating the abstract into something real. Day 4, the archetype of the builder. Born on the 4th, you may resonate with the builder, the one who values structure, routine, and stability. The number 4 represents foundations. It's the number of the square, the table, the home. People with this birthday often crave order and thrive within clear systems. They're dependable, disciplined, and often serve as the grounding force in their families or communities. But their gift of structure can also become a trap. The shadow is rigidity, resistance to change, and fear of the unknown. Their journey is about learning flexibility without losing strength. When integrated, Day 4 individuals create safe spaces for themselves and others where growth becomes possible. Day 5, the archetype of the explorer. If your birthday falls on the 5th, your soul may be guided by the explorer archetype. 5 is the number of freedom, curiosity, and movement. These individuals often feel an inner restlessness, a desire to experience as much of life as possible. They're drawn to travel, new ideas, and diverse people. They rarely stay still, but this drive for expansion can lead to instability. The shadow side is overstimulation, impulsiveness, or running from emotional depth. The explorer's path is not to settle down, but to discover what's worth staying for. When they find alignment, Day 5 individuals become radiant forces of innovation and inspiration, showing others what it means to live fully. Day 6, the archetype of the guardian. The number 6 carries the energy of care, responsibility, and nurturing. People born on the 6th often live out the archetype of the guardian, the one who protects what is sacred. They may feel deeply connected to home, family, or a cause. They are often the emotional caretakers, the ones people rely on. There's a powerful, heart-centered wisdom in them, but their greatest strength, devotion, can also become a burden. They may struggle with over-responsibility or codependence, forgetting to care for themselves. The guardian's path is learning boundaries. When balanced, Day 6 individuals become powerful nurturers of life, offering presence, love, and wisdom without losing themselves. Day 7, the archetype of the seeker. Born on the 7th. You may carry the deep, mysterious energy of the seeker, the one who longs to understand the unseen. 7 is the number of inner truth, spiritual inquiry, and introspection. These individuals are often drawn to philosophy, mysticism, psychology, or science, not for external success, but for inner meaning. They may seem quiet, even distant, but inside there's a fire of curiosity. They ask, what's beneath this? What's real? What's eternal? Their challenge is isolation. They may retreat too far into thought or lose touch with the outer world. Their path is integration, merging insight with embodiment. When awakened, Day 7 individuals become spiritual visionaries, offering depth in a shallow world. Day 8, the archetype of the power holder. The number 8 speaks to mastery, strength, and influence. Those born on the 8th often embody the power holder archetype. They have a natural drive for success, not just materially but existentially. They want to impact the world, to build something that lasts. Leadership, strategy, and vision come naturally to them, but power is a double-edged sword. The shadow of the 8 is control, ambition without empathy, or fear of vulnerability. The journey for Day 8 individuals is to wield their strength with humility and purpose. When integrated, they become leaders of integrity, those who use power not to dominate, but to elevate. Day 9, the archetype of the healer. Those born on the 9th may reflect the archetype of the healer, a soul shaped by compassion, wisdom, and service. 9 is the number of completion. It carries a spiritual tone, a sense that the self is here, not only for itself, but for others. Day 9 individuals often carry emotional depth, intuition, and a strong desire to help, but the healer must be cautious of martyrdom, of giving too much or taking on pain that isn't theirs. Their journey is to serve without self-sacrifice, to heal while honoring their own boundaries. When awakened, they become profound agents of love, holding space for the transformation of others while walking their own sacred path. Day 10, the archetype of the creator. If you were born on the 10th, your life may be guided by the creator, a soul that blends independence, 1, with wholeness, 0. The number 10 is symbolic of potential fulfilled. It carries both the spark and the space to expand. These individuals are often visionaries, initiators, and innovators. There's a natural leadership about them, one that blends intuition and boldness. Their gift is original thinking, but their challenge is overwhelm. With so much possibility, they may struggle to ground their vision into action. The creator's journey is to bring the intangible into form, to translate inspiration into legacy. When balanced, Day 10 individuals become builders of new worlds. In these first 10 days, we already see the profound archetypal spectrum unfolding. And remember, this is not about rigid definitions, it's about invitation. Each day of the month offers a mirror, an entryway into deeper understanding. You don't become your birthday. You already are it. And the more you understand the energy it carries, the more consciously you can live your story. As we continue our symbolic journey through the days of the month, we now enter a more refined and multidimensional layer of archetypal energy. The days from 11 to 20 represent a bridge between raw individual forces, 110, and the more collective spiritual dynamics of the latter days. These middle days often reflect people who merge personal evolution with social or relational influence. There's a unique balance here. The self is maturing, but not yet dissolving into the vast archetypes of surrender or transcendence we'll see later. Let's begin this segment with Day 11, a master number full of light, insight, and spiritual electricity. Day 11. The Illuminator. If you were born on the 11th, you may carry the archetype of the Illuminator, a soul designed to reveal what others can't yet see. 11 is considered a master number in many traditions. It represents intuition, higher awareness, and visionary insight. People born on this day often have a magnetic presence. They may not fully understand why others are drawn to them, but it's often because they hold a kind of inner light. The Illuminator's challenge is to stay grounded. Their sensitivity and spiritual depth can make the world feel overwhelming. They may struggle with anxiety or feel like they don't belong, but when they learn to trust their insight and embody their truth, they become beacons of clarity, guiding others through darkness. Day 12. The Catalyst. Those born on the 12th often carry the archetype of the catalyst, one who accelerates growth, movement, and transformation. The number 12 holds deep symbolic weight across time. 12 hours, 12 months, 12 signs. It's a number of cycles, and those born under it tend to be agents of change. They move fast, think big, and shake things up. Their presence often triggers awakenings in others, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not. But the shadow of the catalyst is burnout, restlessness, or lack of direction. Their path is to learn rhythm. Not everything needs to change at once, but when they align with purpose, Day 12 individuals become powerful forces of evolution, igniting dormant energy wherever they go. Day 13. The Reformer. The number 13 often carries cultural superstition, but symbolically, it is the number of death and rebirth. Those born on the 13th embody the Reformer archetype. These individuals are not afraid to destroy what no longer works, within themselves or the world. They sense injustice, stagnation, or falseness quickly, and their soul seeks transformation. There is a deep seriousness to the Reformer. They carry ancient wisdom, often born from hardship, but their strength can turn rigid if they forget to soften. Their challenge is forgiveness, not just of others, but of their own imperfections. When awakened, Day 13 individuals become powerful healers and truth-tellers. They don't just demand change, they become it. Day 14, the Adventurer. Born on the 14th, you may resonate with the adventurer, a seeker of new experiences, ideas, and emotional expansion. The number 14 blends the grounded stability of 4 with the freedom of 5. People born on this day are dynamic and complex. They crave movement, variety, and depth, but also structure. They're often multi-talented, adaptable, and drawn to unusual paths, but their shadow is overextension, doing too much, too fast, without anchoring. They may feel scattered or unfinished. The adventurer's lesson is intentionality. When they learn to focus their energy, they become bridges between worlds, showing others how to live boldly without losing direction. Day 15. The Harmonizer. The number 15 symbolizes emotional depth, love, and creativity. People born on the 15th often carry the archetype of the Harmonizer. These individuals are naturally attuned to the emotional undercurrents of any situation. They're often the peacekeepers, the lovers, the ones who soften sharp edges and bring connection where there was distance. But the shadow of this archetype is overgiving, losing oneself in relationships, or sacrificing truth for the sake of Comfort, the harmonizer's path is to develop inner harmony, not just outer peace. When integrated, they become powerful mediators and artists of the human heart, balancing emotion and truth in every encounter. Day 16, the Awakener. If your birthday falls on the 16th, you may be guided by the Awakener, an archetype tied to sudden insight, transformation, and spiritual trials. This number often brings intense life lessons early on. People born on this day may face challenges that crack open their consciousness, forcing them to grow quickly. They often carry deep intuition, a questioning mind, and a sacred sense of inner mission. But with awakening comes disillusionment. The shadow here is cynicism, or withdrawing from life after being hurt. The awakener's journey is to trust their process. Their pain becomes medicine, not just for themselves, but for others. When they embody this, Day 16 individuals become soul catalysts, ones who awaken sleeping truths in the collective. Day 17, the Architect. 17 merges spiritual insight, 1 + 7 = 8, with leadership and legacy. Those born on the 17th often reflect the archetype of the architect. These individuals are natural builders, not just of physical structures, but of systems, dreams, and ideas. They think long-term, they see patterns, and they want to leave something behind that matters. They may be strategic, driven, and visionary, but their challenge is emotional detachment, being so focused on the goal that they forget the heart. The architect must learn balance, structure, and soul. When awakened, they create not just success, but meaning. Their legacy isn't just what they do, but how they do it, with integrity and intention. Day 18, the Altruist. The number 18 combines personal will, 1, infinity, 8, and spiritual depth, 9, as 1 + 8, 9. Those born on the 18th often carry the archetype of the altruist. These individuals are here to serve, uplift, and protect others. There's a strong humanitarian current in them. They're often drawn to healing, justice, or leadership roles with a moral foundation. But the altruist can forget themselves. Their shadow is self-erasure, overworking, overgiving, or losing. Their identity in causes. Their evolution lies in self-care as sacred duty. When in balance, Day 18 individuals become pillars of compassion, standing strong for others while honoring their own soul's path. Day 19, the Radiant One. 19 holds the glow of fulfillment. It's the last number before the 20s. Begin, a threshold. People born on the 19th often live out the archetype of the Radiant One. They shine. There's something about them that draws attention, even if they don't seek it. They're often confident, vibrant, and full of life. Force. They may be seen as leaders, performers, or inspirational figures, but their challenge is the mask. Sometimes their radiance becomes a shield, hiding vulnerability beneath charisma. Their path is to own both light and shadow. When they do, Day 19 individuals become sources of authentic inspiration, lighting the way without burning themselves out. Day 20, the Mirror. Born on the 20th, you may embody the mirror archetype, one who reflects, absorbs, and understands the emotional truth of others. 20 is a number of sensitivity, intuition, and quiet power. People born on this day often feel deeply. They're attuned to subtle signals, body language, tone, silence. They often know what others feel before it's spoken, but the mirror can lose clarity. Their shadow is emotional confusion or taking on others' feelings as their own. Their growth lies in separation and clarity. When they learn to reflect without absorbing, they become powerful empaths and listeners, mirrors that help others see themselves with truth and grace. These 10 days, 11 through 20, hold some of the most emotionally and spiritually potent archetypes. These are the souls who straddle the personal and the transpersonal, who often sense they're part of something larger. They are not here to live surface lives. They are here to reveal, reflect, awaken, and build. And now, as we approach the final part of our journey, from day 21 to day 31, we'll enter the realms of maturity, transcendence, and integration. As we reach the final segment of our exploration, we now enter the domain of the later days of the month, a symbolic space where individual identity often begins to merge with larger purposes, deeper truths, and more complex inner landscapes. From Jung's point of view, the end of any cycle is never just an ending, it is a point of reflection, integration, and potential rebirth. The people born in these final days of the month often carry mature archetypes. They've lived many inner lives, and their presence reflects a blend of experience, spiritual awareness, and responsibility. Let us now step into the archetypal meanings of the days 21 through 31, continuing our deep dive into what your specific day of birth might say about your soul's journey. Day 21. The Inspirer. If you were born on the 21st, you may reflect the archetype of the Inspirer, a soul that naturally uplifts others through joy, wisdom, and imagination. 21 is a number of expansion. It carries the communicative spark of 3, 2 plus 1, 2, 3, yet it's rooted in maturity. People born on this day often bridge youthful optimism and deep insight. They're expressive, sociable, and often drawn to teaching, storytelling, or the arts. Their presence is often a source of hope, but the shadow of the Inspirer is disconnection, using charisma to hide wounds or entertaining others to avoid their own silence. Their journey is to make joy sacred. When aligned, they become radiant guides, reminding others that inspiration is not a performance, but a way of being. Day 22. The Master Builder. Born on the 22nd, you may be guided by the rare and powerful archetype of the Master Builder. 22 is a master number, symbolizing high spiritual potential grounded in real-world action. Those born on this day are here to build something lasting, a life, a vision, a movement. They blend dreams with practicality and often carry a quiet sense of destiny. They may feel burdened by responsibility early in life, as if they were meant for more. And it's true, they are. But the shadow lies in self-doubt or trying to control outcomes too tightly. Their growth comes from trusting both their hands and their heart. When balanced, Day 22 individuals become masterful manifestors, turning invisible ideas into living legacies. Day 23, the Messenger. The number 23 is infused with curiosity, intelligence, and movement. People born on the 23rd often live out the archetype of the messenger. They are communicators at their core, quick-witted, observant, and drawn to share ideas. They may be speakers, writers, mediators, or lifelong students. There's a playfulness about them, but also depth. Their challenge is staying centered. With so much mental energy, they can become scattered or struggle to commit. The messenger must learn to slow down enough to hear their own voice. When aligned, they become powerful bridges between knowledge and wisdom, delivering truth in a way others can receive. Day 24, the Heart Keeper. Those born on the 24th often embody the Heart Keeper, an archetype rooted in love, protection, and emotional loyalty. 24 is connected to the energy of home, nurturing, and inner sanctuary. People with this number may feel naturally responsible for the well-being of others. They often become the emotional anchor in their relationships. Their gift is presence, but their shadow is over-attachment, a tendency to place others' needs above their own. The Heart Keeper must remember that their heart matters too. When awakened, day 24 individuals become soul nurturers, those who create healing spaces simply by being who they are. Day 25, the philosopher. The number 25 merges spiritual seeking with intellectual depth. People born on the 25th often carry the archetype of the philosopher. They're natural observers, thinkers, and questioners. They're drawn to life's big questions and often explore psychology, mysticism, or science to understand existence. Their inner world is vast, but they may struggle to share it. The shadow here is isolation, hiding behind ideas, afraid of being misunderstood. The philosopher must come down from the tower to translate thought into connection. When integrated, they become spiritual guides, offering depth, clarity, and meaning in a world of noise. Day 26, the steward. Born on the 26th, you may reflect the archetype of the steward, the one who takes responsibility not only for their own life, but for the well-being of others. This number carries themes of leadership, accountability, and protection. People born on this day often feel a natural pull toward mentorship, business, or caregiving roles. They take ownership of projects, people, and plans, but their strength can become a weight. The steward's shadow is control or feeling indispensable. Their path is one of empowered delegation, learning to trust others while leading with grace. When balanced, day 26 individuals become pillars of stability, wise custodians of resources, people, and purpose. Day 27, the mystic. The 27th day resonates with deep spiritual energy. People born on this day often live out the archetype of the mystic. They are intuitive, inwardly powerful, and often deeply empathetic. There is a sense of ancient wisdom in them, as though they've lived many lifetimes. They're drawn to the unseen, the energetic, symbolic, or dreamlike aspects of life, but the shadow of the mystic is escapism. They may avoid the world, feeling misunderstood or overwhelmed by its noise. Their journey is to weave heaven into earth, to bring their spiritual insights into action. When awakened, day 27 individuals become modern mystics, those who walk between worlds with open eyes and open hearts. Day 28, the challenger. Born on the 28th, you may embody the challenger, a soul who questions, disrupts, and breaks through limits. 28 blends the independence of 1 and the karmic strength of 8. These individuals are often bold, determined, and unafraid to confront difficult truths. They're builders of new paths, but not without resistance. The challenger's shadow is stubbornness, resisting guidance or fearing vulnerability. Their power lies in constructive disruption. When aligned, day 28 individuals become courageous reformers, those who tear down what's false to build what's real. Day 29, the dreamer. The 29th is another master number rooted in emotional depth and visionary sensitivity. People born on this day often live out the archetype of the dreamer. They feel more than they can explain. They often carry the pain and beauty of the world in their hearts. There's an almost poetic quality to their presence, sensitive, idealistic, and deeply aware of possibility. But the dreamer can get lost in longing. Their shadow is disappointment, or waiting too long for things to align. Their path is to anchor the dream in the now. When they do, day 29 individuals become magical realists, turning emotion into action and vision into life. Day 30, the teacher. If you were born on the 30th, your soul may carry the archetype of the teacher, one who gathers, integrates, and shares knowledge for the benefit of others. 30 is a number of expression, mastery, and service. People born on this day often become mentors, counselors, or communicators. They have a way of making complex truths accessible, and they're often looked to for guidance, whether they ask for it or not. Their challenge is perfectionism, believing they must have it all figured out before they speak. The teacher's evolution is in embracing the ongoing journey. When integrated, they become humble guides, those who teach not because they know everything, but because they've lived it. Day 31. The foundation layer. The final day of the month, 31, carries a powerful symbolic weight. Those born on this day often live out the archetype of the foundation layer. They are builders of endings and beginnings, souls who carry the wisdom of cycles. They may have a strong sense of timing, patience, and legacy. They're not flashy, but they're essential. They often hold families, teams, or communities together through quiet strength, but their shadow is self-erasure, focusing so much on others that they forget their own dreams. Their journey is to realize that they, too, are worthy of center stage. When balanced, Day 31 individuals become master stabilizers, those who build futures that others depend on. These final days, 21 through 31, hold archetypes that speak to wisdom, integration, and depth. These are the souls who have come to live with awareness, to build bridges between the personal and the universal. Your birthday, whatever it may be, is not just a number. It's a symbol, a reflection of your unique thread in the great tapestry of human consciousness. And the more you listen to what that day is whispering, the more you may remember what your soul came here to do. The day you were born is not just a date, it's a doorway. A quiet symbol carrying echoes of who you are, why you feel what you feel, and what your soul came here to experience. Carl Jung believed that nothing is random, and when you start to look at your birthday not as coincidence, but as a mirror of deeper truths, everything begins to shift. You don't have to believe in fate. Just dare to believe that your life has always been whispering to you, and that your birthday might be where that whisper first began.